The film opens in chaos. We meet Bob Ferguson, a former revolutionary, living off-grid and submerged in paranoia, smoking weed and trying to keep his fragmented past at bay. He's alone, or so it seems, but his life is tethered to something more. 16 years ago, when he and his fellow militants in the French 75 group animated the spirit of rebellion in a fractured America, their mission once felt righteous, full of idealism and rage, but over time it splintered, leaving Bob to raise his daughter Willa in isolation, doing his best to protect her from the shadows of his past. As the quiet of exile presses down on him, an old threat resurfaces. Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, once a ruthless officer and adversary of the rebels, re-enters Bob's life like a ghost. Lockjaw represents everything Bob fought against: power, violence, and a deeply rooted hatred of what Bob stands for. His return reignites old wounds and forces Bob to make a choice: continue hiding or fight. Meanwhile, Willa, now a young woman, has grown up under the care of her estranged mother, Perfidia Beverly Hills, and others who stayed loyal to the cause even after the revolution failed. She learned to survive on the run, shaped by the same defiance that once fueled her parents. But Lockjaw's reappearance puts her squarely in danger. His hunters close in, and she finds herself caught in a whirlwind of violence she never wanted to face. Bob, desperate to protect his daughter, seeks help from old allies. Among them is the enigmatic sensei Sergio San Carlos, a judo master and spiritual guide who once helped Bob escape his more radical days. Sergio becomes Bob's strategist, mentor, and moral compass, the one person who remembers who Bob used to be and believes he can still be more than a recluse haunted by regret. In parallel, the political climate tightens. Lockjaw is courted by a secret society known as the Christmas Adventurers, a network of powerful conservative figures who share his extremist vision. They see his obsession with Bob and Perfidia not as personal vendetta, but as a necessary crusade, one they are willing to support publicly and behind closed doors. Their power grows, and the lines between ideological struggle and personal vendetta blur. Bob and his team launch a daring operation to rescue Willa. Deandra, a longtime member of the French 75 and fervent revolutionary in her own right, leads an exfiltration mission at a high school. She risks everything to get Willa out, moving through coded channels, secret bunkers, and the dangerous terrain of Lockjaw's influence. The rescue is violent and messy, a clash not just of bodies, but of ideals and old loyalties. As the stakes rise, Bob's paranoia intensifies. He forgets passwords, misreads intel, and wonders if the revolution he once believed in was ever worth it. But Sergio's calm guidance helps ground him. Their escape plan is bold, a cross-country convoy that carries them through abandoned highways, secret roadways, and masked checkpoints. It's a race not just for Willa's safety, but for the soul of their cause. Along the way, Perfidia re-emerges in Bob's life, fierce, pregnant, and as committed to the fight as ever. Their relationship is complicated, not just by love, but by betrayal, ideology, and power. Perfidia's presence embodies both hope and danger, reminding Bob of everything they built and everything they lost. The final confrontation happens in a remote convent, a place where faith, resistance, and radicalism intersect. It's here that Bob, Sergio, Deandra, and Willa collide with Lockjaw's forces. The fight is brutal. Gunfire, ideological fervor, and raw emotion converge in a storm of violence. Willa, who has grown up in the shadow of revolution, must make a choice, one that could change the course of her life and the legacy of her parents. Lockjaw's fate is sealed not just by bullets, but by his own twisted ambition. In the chaos of the battle, he confronts the truth of his paternity, a revelation that fractures his authority and leaves him exposed. As his power crumbles, Bob steps forward, not just as a revolutionary, but as a father, wounded but unbroken. In the aftermath, the smoke clears and the survivors gather. Willa, Bob, Perfidia, and Sergio stand amid the ruins, bloodied but alive. The revolution hasn't ended, it's changed. Their fight is not just against an enemy, but for redemption, for family, for a future that might finally escape the shadows of the past. They drive away from the battlefield toward an uncertain horizon. The war was never just external, it was inside them, built on memories, regrets, and the stubborn belief that one more battle could make things right.